The Genesis of Demons is interesting because wasn't it written as like a three-part trilogy, and it was always Demons 1, Demons 2, and then whatever Demons 3 was supposed to be, like Return to the Land of the Demons, I always remember was the title, suddenly became The Church with extra bits added by Michele Soavi. So that's how I always remember it. Dardana Sacchetti always says that, you know, Dario sort of like told him that this is what he wanted. He wanted to do something about demon mythology, and that's what he provided.
It says here that demons are instruments of evil.
Trick or treat.
Don't do that.
How do I look?
Whoever wears it becomes a demon.
I think it comes at a time when, I mean, Dario really produced Dawn of the Dead, and it done very well, and he actually, I think, wanted to sort of do something in that area. I mean, 4 years after Dawn of the Dead, he'd done a few productions, but nothing that interesting or that actually worked very well. So I think it was a case of also providing his friend, Lamberto Bava, the family friend, with a job. Because, you know, although Lamberto was his, assistant AD on many of his early movies, Lamberto had made Macabre, hadn't he? And he wanted to sort of like do something else. And I think it was helping him to sort of do, and I think it was paying back the favour that Mario had done on Inferno as well. I think at that time, Dario was very, very good with all his friends. It was all jobs for the boys. A lot of nepotism was going on. But of course, the thing is, it's quite interesting to me that Demons is more a Dario film that is actually a Lamberto film. So Dario's production stamp on it, I think, is pretty strong. I mean, he was on set all the time when they made it. I mean, there was no getting away from him. I mean, I think in his latter productions, he sort of like took a back seat and let the directors get on with it. But I know on Demons, because it was quite an important film at that time for him. And I know that he wanted to make sure that Lamberto did the right job. And of course, Fiore was in it. I mean, you know, Dario's daughter. And he wanted to sort of like make sure she was, well, looked after, really. And of course she wasn't, because, you know, that's why she gave up her acting career, because she hated working with Lamberto. She's always told me they said he was the worst thing. He said it was her career finished after that, because she just never, ever wanted to be shouted at again by somebody like him. Dario, despite the failure of some of his recent movies, is still the biggest brand name in Italy in Italian horror. And at that time it was mega, and he was coming off Suspiria, Inferno, Tenebrae, you know, Phenomena. So therefore they would obviously put Dario's name above the title. I mean, Michele Soavi always laughs about that, doesn't he? It's like, you know, Dario Argento presents, you know, like a Michele Soavi, tiny. But hey, you know, that sold it. I mean, I was at the Rome premiere of Demons, and it was just amazing, the audience. I've never seen anything like it. I've been at quite a lot of the premieres of Dario's films, but Demons is particularly noteworthy because it was absolutely packed. People were desperate to get in. There was an atmosphere in the audience like I've never, ever had. And of course, the film delivered. I mean, it really did. I mean, you know, at that time, when you look back at what it was, I mean, it was like gory, it was nasty, it was a brilliant concept. I mean, that was always what was so good about that film. And so as a result of it, it played. I mean, that audience, they clapped. It went through the roof, the rafters. And I always remember it. I mean, Dario is very, very nervous at his premieres. He sort of paces up and down outside and sort of goes, ooh. But with this one, it was almost like he knew he had a success on his hands, and boy did he, and it really, really did well. Dario would argue with you about it being zombies. He would actually say it is demon mythology. He would never ever say that. I mean, as much as, you know, yes, it's obviously borrowed from the zombie mythology. I just thought it was something new. I mean, at the time it was being allied to The Purple Rose of Cairo, which was the Woody Allen film, because it was almost like the things coming out of the, you know, the screen. And at that time, I remember it was really novel. It had a real sort of like uniqueness about it. You know, we hadn't seen those, and now it's all like old news and like cliche, but back then, it was really, really something special. And I mean, I adored it. I mean, I knew Alberto Barberini quite well at that time, and I thought he was really good in it.
My name's George.
Mine's Cheryl.
Stand back while we work on this thing.
Cheryl, if I have a heart attack, it's your fault.
I always remember Nick Alexander telling me that he'd met a black actor in Rome the day before, literally a week before he came to dub Demons, and he said to him that you know, look, I've never ever have any work for black acting in Rome. And then if Demons didn't turn up, and there was this black actor, and he actually gave this guy a job literally like that because he never even realised. So that actually was fortuitous from that point of view.
Holy shit! She's a friend of mine! Hey, baby. What happened? Shit, baby, what happened?
I spoke to Lamberto a lot about the movie, about the original Demons, and he more or less gave me everything that I needed to know, because I mean all the homages to his father, his work, and of course you had Dario's stuff in there, the posters on the cinema wall, the Metropole and all that. And so I always remember Dario telling me that, you know, because they shot it in Germany, didn't they, Demons? And he wanted that sort of, what he saw was that German, you know, hardness, and that sort of like what he felt at the time was going on in Europe. He felt like the Germans were really becoming quite, you know, fascist again, and he wanted to sort of put that across. I mean, Dario's very good at putting that sort of subtext into his movies like that, I think.
Coming. Shit. Let's get out.
But no, I mean, it was just something new and different. And, you know, now when we look back and you see it, just look a bit cliche. That's because we've seen so many things after it.
Son of a bitch! Shit! Hey, George, look at her fingernails!
Sergio Stivaletti's work, I mean, is a bit hit and miss, but I think he got it right in Demons. And I think the very famous backburster scene, which everyone sort of allied to Alien, is justifiably famous. I think it's very, very good. I mean, it really is quite a nasty. And in those days, of course, that whole, you know, special effects, you know, technology hadn't sort of advanced too much, and I quite like that sort of visceral, sleazy, fakey feel about some of it. I think it's actually quite good, and I think actually, apart from opera, I think that was actually Stivaletti's, you know, finest hour was Demons, definitely. I saw all the marks. I mean, you know, when he going to his house, you see them all there. He's still got quite a lot of the stuff, hasn't he? So, yeah. Yeah, the demon fingernails, the head masks. He's still got them all, yeah.
God, it's happening. It can't be true.
I remember I went to see the world premiere in Italy with Phil Nutman, who was actually writing for Fangoria magazine at the time. And between us, I actually think we put that film on the map. I mean, nobody knew what it was. We came back from Italy. I know Phil did a lot of stuff in his magazine about it. I did a lot of stuff in Cine Fantastique and Starburst about it. And I think nobody else was really knowing what this was. And suddenly, especially in England, a lot of distributors came to me and said, wow, is it really that good? And I said, yeah, you know, we did really do well with this. And so I know that we helped it. Dario always did say to me that we did sort of like, did a lot of groundwork for him there. Because, you know, we did the sales agents' work basically, because, you know what these people are like. They go to Cannes, they do a little flyer. Nobody's ever heard of it. But in this case, and we'd actually done a lot of, you know, set reports and things on it. And I think we actually helped the film. So we gave it an international profile. I'm not saying it's just us, but I'm just saying, but in those days we could do that. That was the power of that journalism at the time. And I think that, yeah, we definitely helped that filmmakers. And of course it went on in America to do really, really well, didn't it? I mean, in England it got a bit weird, I remember, because they were going to do a theatrical release and they didn't, and then they were going to again and then they didn't, and then it was like a video release only, and they didn't really know. It's one of those weird video companies who had it, and I didn't think they trusted what they had, and therefore were going, ooh, ah, what are we going to do? And we said that we'd help promote it, because I was doing Shock Around the Clock at that time, and nothing happened. So I think that all fell apart there. But yeah, it's still the one film that a lot of people come up to me and say, you know, I read all your stuff and I wanted to see it, and so it was good.
Nah, I never go there. There are too many people on the beach.
Hey!
no, Demons definitely did better than Phenomena, because it was like #1 in the Italian box office for like 3 weeks, and Phenomena definitely never got anywhere near that. Dario loves Phenomena, and I always think that that's mainly because it wasn't that big a film for him. And also, when you look at the two films, you can just see that, you know, that obviously it's more commercial, Demons, the way, the whole approach, you know, the stars, you know, I think it, yeah, definitely. Well, Opera did quite well. I mean, Opera was quite a big film at the time. I mean, you know, I mean, it was released at Christmas, so Opera would be the last big Dario Argento directing production. As far as the others, I mean, from then on, it was then sort of diminishing returns. So, yeah, it probably is actually. I think Demons probably is. Again, it was a pinnacle for Sergio Stivaletti. It might have been actually a, you know, a directing pinnacle for Lamberto, definitely, and probably a production one for Dario too, because although Demons 2 did very, very well, it actually matched, I think, Demons in terms of box office returns, whereas The Church actually didn't really. So, but by that time, it had sort of so far divorced from what actually the mythology was all about that I think it was never going to do that anyway. If Demons made all that money, they were bound to put something in, you know, production pretty fast. I mean, I think Demons, the success of it took them all by surprise, and I think they did rush it slightly, and I think that might be one of the reasons why I think it is quite a weaker film. But I mean, you know, hey, you know, the Italian industry, they're going to sort of move fast. If it's a success, you know, shove it out, you know. What I will say about Demons 2 is that, I mean, you know, all good for them that they took the concept and they moved it to television. But that was it. There was really nothing else to it, I don't think. And yes, Arzia was, you know, was in it, and Coraline Nicotali-Tassoni was in it, and Coraline's told me loads of stories about how they got on really well on that film and how it worked, and she really enjoyed, you know, doing it. And but I'm not, you know, I'm not a fan of the movie, I have to say. So, as you know from the book, because you know that I didn't really review it very well at all. I do have a poster for The Return to the Land of the Demons. It was going to be made just before Opera, and I've got a brochure that has Opera, and I've got Return to the Land of the Demons, and a new Dario Argento production. It's like a 3-part booklet. So they obviously were going to keep it at that title, and then I think perhaps Demons 2, I'm guessing, didn't do as well as they expected it to, and therefore they decided not to put any Demons references in there again, and they changed it to La Chiesa, the church. Well, the thing about Lamberto is, I mean, he went where the money was. I mean, Lamberto went to television, and I mean, Fantagiro and all those movies, those TV movies, were enormous rating successes. I mean, he is still one of the biggest TV directors from a ratings point of view that you've ever seen. I mean, they were all amazing. I mean, Sorellina, loads of them. You know, Kim Rossi Stewart. I mean, in these things, I mean, you know, I'm not a fan of the Fantagiro series, but I can see what, you know, why they worked in Italy. I really can. It was their fairy tale. I mean, Sergio Stivaletti did some good effects for it again. I mean, so yeah, I mean, you went to TV, and as Dario's always said to me, that once you start doing television movies, you never, ever, ever get back to cinema. And that's one of the reasons why Do You Like Hitchcock didn't turn into a series and became sort of this standalone weird TV movie that got theatrically released everywhere, because Dario did not want to be seen as doing television. I mean, Masters of Horror is different because it was like done for an American not for an Italian company. So that's the reason. So once you do television, and Lamberto's proved it, I think. I mean, I love Lamberto. I really do love him. But I mean, after the Phantom Heroes and the TV series, you know, he's done very, very little. The Torturer, you know, Ghost, so, you know, Son, and all those. I mean, you know, these aren't particularly good movies, and and he knows where his career is. I mean, doesn't he? So I think that's the reason for that. Once you become a TV director in Italy, I think your theatrical career is over.
On the right, June. Good shot.
But yeah, I mean, I've got a great affection for Demons because I mean, it's literally the first time I'd ever gone to Italy, and there was all that tied in with it as well. It was just so fantastic being there with everybody, you know. I mean, you know, become jaded since, but at that time, it was a really, really great experience.